There we go. Okay, so yeah, just a quick reminder to all that I'm going to be in Toronto next week, which is the 23rd. Just going to confirm that on my calendar. Tuesday the 23rd for late lunch at our favorite places, which is called Canware. And cafe, oh gosh, mash two words together. Kathy Landswear in Yorkdale, which is really easy to get to. So if you're coming from the West End like me, you can get off at Dufferin, and Dufferin does a little loop into the mall. And if you park right there, Landwear's right there. So I think there's a few coming from all the way from Hamilton to be in that meeting. I'm guessing next week, like we've had a couple, like, okay, it's a little cooler this week, but we've had some fantastic weather up to now. So I'm guessing we'll be out in the patio. And it's a corner, kind of like a corner, one of the corners of Yorkdale. So they got a nice wrapping patio. So hopefully we'll do that. I'll let you guys know closer to the time. If you guys are thinking of going out there and you want to carpool, even if you're coming from way out in Hamilton, we can meet somewhere. If you're coming from wherever you're coming from and you want to save a little gas, meet me. Let's just make a spot and we can go in together. Let me know. Or if you want to meet with somebody else, Joy's from Toronto. You guys, I don't know if you guys know Joy. Joy's an old time networking guy with the group. Dorothy, do you ever met Joey? I'm trying to think how back he goes. You're muted, yeah.
Yeah, I was just writing Joey to say welcome back. Good to see you, Joey.
So he's been Joey. Joey has a crazy story that I'm going to let him. Do you mind sharing, Joey? You have to take yourself off mute. There you go. Oh, maybe it's just your headphones. Let me see here.
We can't hear you.
Oh, shoot.
Still not audio.
There you are. There you are.
Sorry, there's a technical issue. Let me sign out and come back in a moment.
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
We'll
keep everybody in suspense. So, so Yorkdale, and then and for the Mississauga crew, we're going to get together. No worries. On the 30th. Are you back now? You're okay. Go ahead.
So quickly, if anyone tuned into CBC Radio 1 on Saturday or Sunday to the show White Coat, Black Art, you may have heard my story. Former CBC guy, and I decided to pitch them. They had an open call looking for people's travel insurance. So long story short, I live and work in Puerto Vallarta half of the year and experienced a heart attack on March 18th. Took myself to the local nearest hospital and immediately was handed a point of sale terminal to start whatever procedure, even though I had insurance, and was kept in hospital for 72 hours beyond discharge because the insurance company had not finalized payment. So what often happens that I shared with Canada is that when you're in a foreign country and you have a medical emergency, the insurance will try to negotiate a cheaper fee. So I brokered a deal reducing my hospital and emergency angioplasty by 30%, and then immediately was discharged at 9 o'clock the next morning. So it's something you don't expect, and very, very sad. And I will say, as somebody born in this beautiful country as first-generation Canada, I am so grateful to be home, as it is very unusual to be handed a point-of-sale terminal in the middle of a cardiac emergency. But that's what happens, and you're often required to do so, even if insurance is there. They won't accept in good faith insurance until they finally sign off. So that was a very interesting and dramatic kind of sad story, and I was happy to share it on CBC. And unfortunately, insurance is still fighting every single penny according to their plan and policy. It's a kind of a revolting industry, to be honest. Very sorry if anyone's in insurance, but it was an ugly one. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Did you actually have to put in details in your POS? You had to put a credit card or something like that in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To cobble together credit cards for $30,000 before the cardiologist would do the emergency surgery at 3 a.m. Yeah. You're on a table. They would say go. If they don't get it, they're like, they'll send you to a public regional hospital in Mexico or anywhere. Yeah. So very sobering kind of thing of what Canada is. In terms of, I know our healthcare system needs work, but my goodness, talk about the moment I landed on Canadian soil, how grateful I was.
Oh my God. Joey, I need to talk to you.
I'm doing really well. I'm really doing well. I'm very happy.
Great.
Okay, good.
Funny. I had not as dramatic as you. I was in the DR the last day of leaving. I fell. I have to tell you about that story. It's very similar where they would not take my insurance.
Correct.
And I am leaving. I have a plane to catch, and they're giving me a prescription to go to a pharmacy. Man, I was so mad. Joey, let's stop because I thought,
absolutely.
oh my God, this is crazy. I was so mad.
That is scary.
So I'm happy.
All right. So my summer travels, you guys just made me a lot more nervous about. Thank you.
Well, where are you headed, Richard? I can tell you some ins and outs.
I'm going to Europe. So it's like, and I don't go to Europe. It's not like I can do that every day. I'm the kind of guy that stay home, right? So, but it's our anniversary, my wife and I. And I said I would do Europe. I'm going to south of France and then Portugal after that. So yeah. So now I'm going to have my heart checked before I go, clearly. Pay off all my credit cards. Just make sure they're all available.
Yeah.
Is there any learning with the insurance companies?
Yeah.
Like that you learned? Is there anything you learned of what you could do to kind of
I used my former journalist background to make things happen in intensive care units. Otherwise, I mean, I could be sitting there languishing. I literally negotiated my release. They wouldn't take an IV out until the insurance company gave a letter of memorandum or understanding, a promise to pay. And then I had to negotiate that 30%. So, I learned that it's all revolting and it is about money. That's what I learned, to be honest.
So there's nothing like the insurance company wouldn't write you something that you could bring to a hospital. No, I guess.
No, I had my policy ready. I knew what to do.
Yeah.
I had my credit card, had my policy. And when I think I'm having a heart attack, here's the information. Here's my medication for the next 72 hours in case I'm in hospital. Like I did it all, and it didn't matter. I'm just laughing because it's really beyond. Anyway, I don't want to take over the conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's scary.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And Jody and you have met, so there's deeper conversations, I'm sure. Have you gotten into those conversations with Joey yet, Jody? Not yet?
No, Joey and I haven't actually had the privilege of really meeting too much, but Joey, that's literally what I do in my business is help with preparedness and planning, not the vacation side of it, but it's basically if there's that, it's how to be more prepared, how to have all of this stuff in place. Who's going to be ready with their list of medications and their insurance policy and their credit card, unless you've experienced it before, right? So I'm actually going to Italy in a couple of weeks. My cousin's getting married. So I'm now sitting here going, all right, well, let's get that. So Richard's pay off your credit card. I'm like, what credit card do I bring? Which one do I need to have ready to go?
Yeah.
So these conversations are just so enlightening.
I strongly suspect Europe. I'm just going to be very honest as someone who loves the second country I live in and call home. I strongly suspect a universal healthcare system country would be very different than private for pay, right?
Okay.
I mean, I could have gone to a public regional hospital, but wouldn't have been guaranteed any surgery, right?
Oh, man.
You're going to be fine in Europe. You're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll check in with Jody when she gets back, see how it went.
Right.
Different country,
and then even to Dorothy's point, she just had a simple probably fall on her way. And I'm just being I'm going to a cobblestone country. What's happening right now? So,
I think you're fine in Europe for sure. Having got no mishaps there, but my brother-in-law actually, when he landed in Rome, actually had a heart attack and he had a great experience. They had a great experience. So
I'm glad he did. I don't want to replay his.
You don't. It wasn't dear. Just be careful.
Yeah.
And you just have to be, because $1,500 later for a stitch.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy.
And they would not do it until they, oh my God, it was just so maddening for me.
Wow.
I'm sorry for both of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you for sharing your stories though.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move away from those poor victims of poor healthcare. I'm gonna let my mother listen to you because she thinks Canada's healthcare is terrible, but she comes from Cuba, so figure that one out. I don't know. So anyhow, guys, updates. This is member updates. We did the sector updates. I'll give this one mostly to Joey. Then so in sector updates, which we had already, we cover the big picture, what's happening in your industry. It may not be related to ours, but we can still get something out of that. And this one's more what's going on with you, and think about it from a perspective of, hey, we might want to work with you. So we're trying to get to know what you do better. and why you do it, who you do it for. Think about that kind of from that context. And hey, just love to hear what you're doing just for pure entertainment, maybe, or maybe just if, hey, I'm going through something now, maybe you're going through the same thing. So that's the member update. And Marta, are you going to kick it off? Is that why you raised your hand?
She's ready to go.
All right.
I'm ready
all
to
right.
go.
Meredith. All right.
I'm kicking it off because otherwise I'll forget, Richard. You asked me to talk about something a couple of weeks ago,
yes.
and you said, wait till the next member update. But Joey, I don't think we've ever met. I'm Marta. I'm a branding designer, and be nice to talk to you another time, but we'll talk, I'm assuming, one day. Everyone else I know, Michael, I met you last meeting, I believe. So what I wanted to talk about was I did up a referral sheet recently, and it's like a one-pager that I would send to all of my inner circle partners like yourselves, even to some clients that, I know I enjoy working with. So if they have similar like partners, I would like to be introduced to them. And I've posted it on Heartbeat. So if you want to go have a look at it, you can. It's a one pager. Like it literally is, scan it. It gives you a little bit about, who am I targeting? Obviously what I do, who I'm targeting, and a little bit of my recent works so that it gives a little bit of credibility to what I've done as well. And there's a little bit of it's all sectioned out. So I would say it's very easy to scan. I'm going to repeat that just because as a designer, that's what I look for, right? I look for information that is easy to scan, that it looks professional, looks credible, and makes me want to read more or makes me want to find out more about that person. So I sent it to Richard because, again, like I said, whoever's in my networking group that I thought would be happy to receive this, and he asked me to post it on Heartbeat. So just thought I would share that with everybody. So it might be a good tool. I know like Christina, for instance, she's in BNI. So you're used to all this like referral tactics and, what do I say when I want to refer you? I think it's so important because sometimes we get stuck, right? We're trying, I think I have someone that I could refer Miranda to, but then it's like, well, how exactly do I want to position her? And what do I want to say about her? And maybe this is because of my branding hat and I always want to say the right thing, but really it's very important how we refer each other, like how we talk about each other so that, we give each other the best referral opportunity possible. So just wanted to talk about that.
I love it. I love how you brought up BNI because I really think they have thought about that referral and how that works, and they made it a mechanical element of what they do. And I think if you think of my perspective, right, if I want to refer somebody on, and this, I know this happens with people about me, is if they don't fully understand you, they don't want to, and maybe embarrass is a tough word, but they don't want to embarrass themselves.
They don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, they don't want to speak poorly or misconnect you and set you up in a call that's going to be a waste of your time. So they're thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves, their own reputation, right? So there's a lot of things going on in a referral that we don't even think about. And I think BNI has done a great job of just taking that and being mechanical about how to do it right. Am I right, Christina? I'm going to you because I know you're a big BNI person from before too. You know the rules.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And to be honest with you, like we're doing something next week where like normally at the start of every week, you have 45 seconds to say who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for that week. But next week, we're actually doing it and flipping it so that you have to do it for someone else in the group. So it really shows you know someone and be able to like do that. And what they did actually in this way, not to put anyone on the spot to do it immediately, although technically we should be able to talk about everyone in it. But I'm going to probably make an easy bet that I bet you all of us couldn't do 45 seconds on each person in this group immediately.
Yep.
And so whether that means that, like, I don't know, there's something similar to Marta's one pager for everybody, or it's one document that has kind of like who you are, what you do, what you're looking for, whatnot. But I do think, like, obviously everyone, there's a lot, whether trip advice or medical advice or just life advice that we get from each other. But I think to Marta's point, it would be great for people to be able to sort of talk to what each of us does when you're in situations.
And I also like sharing of client stories because that's another way, like stories are easier to remember. And then you can regurgitate that story when you're referring that person on, and it cements things, right? Like it tells you who that target market is, what they do, what they did to solve what the pain points. There's a lot of things, but I love the concept of one pager. And I myself need to get better at that, because I might explain myself and what I do differently to the context of what the person's challenge is. but there needs to be this general, people don't want to share with you until they know what they should share. Like, well, I don't know what pains you solve, so I don't know what pains I should share with you, right? Otherwise, I could be just wasting your time. So I think that's a great tool. So good work. Thanks for reminding me. I would have just completely kept going. I forgot about it. So thanks for doing that, Marta. I appreciate that.
I went
What-
to the point
yeah.
of like just not having it get lost. Like, is there something within Heartbeat? Like, I can't remember where you put it there, where it's like a folder for whoever wants to. And I don't know whether Marta, I didn't see what you did there, but maybe it's hey, here's a blank template that everyone could drop in this, and then if anyone that wants to can just fill it out. And then if anytime you need to look at what people have done, it's easy to scan because we have an incredible designer as part of our group that has something that people can just drop in. Because otherwise it might get lost.
There's a couple things. Don't forget you guys have a bio. That bio got set up when you did your intro.
Oh yeah.
You could change that, right? And I have to remind myself as I reposition myself or change the wording. I'm terrible like that. I'll do change the nuance of what I'm saying. But that's one. But there is something called a resources folder. I'm going to try and see if I have to put this to my memory, Marta, if I can throw that in a resources folder. And if I can, maybe I could put something like one pager or something. Let me look into that. I'll do it as a takeaway and just taking a note of that. So I'll try and do it. But I like that idea, Christina. And you know what? Yeah, and this is not a shot against
the bio side of it. You're right.
Yeah, no. So the B2B cohort, the app is supposed to be light, right? Like you guys spend all your time on your websites, your LinkedIn profile. That's where you invest your time. This is like more, think of it as a reminder. Oh, shoot, Marta was saying something. What does she do again, I think? And it's a quick little, that's what she does. It has the quick contact details. So a quick link up to your LinkedIn profile, a quick to your website. If you want to share your calendar, you can do those. Those three things are to get you connected to that other person quickly and without embarrassing yourself. So there's a little bit of the bio, who they are. So you're not like connecting and not knowing anything about them. So try to remember that you don't have to spend an exorbitant amount of time in there, but it just keep in mind, it does a lot of those things for you. So we don't have to do any work on that. So I like that. Well, Matt, who wants to go next? Or otherwise I'll just go while you guys are thinking. Any other member updates? We got good one from Joey recently.
I can go next.
Go. Yeah, Jody. That's a hard transition for you. Jody.
He's right next to me on my screen too. So if he's next to you, we're just a blur today, Joey. It's fine.
You guys are in different spots for you. Go ahead, Jody. Sorry.
So for those of you that I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I actually have two businesses. So my first business is called Work Smart Canada, and I'm a business coach. I have helped people for over a decade start businesses, scale businesses, build, sell, transfer, and close businesses. I know a lot when it comes to business, but I'm your operational side. I'm not your mindset business, life business. I'm straight up business. And my goal right now is to help business owners stay business owners and focus on sustainability planning. So that's my first business. The one that I'm more and more talking about is my second business, and it's called Your Business Executor. And I focus on business contingency planning and business continuity planning, because some of you might have wills in place, but you definitely probably don't have a plan in place in case you can't show up for your business one day, whether it's short-term or long-term absences. So Joey nailed a perfect one. Life events come out of nowhere, and most of us are sole owners. We may have a team, but is anybody in place with the resources and knowledge to be able to step in if you need to step away? Most of us don't have that plan in place. So one comment that Richard made to me, I think it was during the in-person event in Hamilton last week, and he'd made it before, and I'll get to it, Richard. I'm not throwing you under the bus on intentionally here, but I run a 4-week not in person, it's like a live virtual business preparedness series. And we just wrapped it up last week. But Richard made a comment that he likes to kind of do things on his own way. So it's like, is there a self-guided version? Is there kind of like a do-it-myself version? And I'm not going to lie, I've been against doing the self-guided forever because you have no accountability. So many people invest in things and then they fall by the wayside. So the live accountability does go a long way. But I did take that away and I said, okay, what is something that I could do that I can offer a live version and a self-guided version for? And what I'm going to be launching the first week of July is basically just a business checklist. a business check-in program. It's really, really short and sweet. And there's going to be a self-guided version of it. And then there's going to be a live accountability, like one-to-one session as well. And I'm going to be launching it in the different groups that I'm a part of. So I'm going to be launching it in you guys in this group as well for some of you if you're interested, to just get you started. So basically, what do you have in place? What don't you have in place? What is maybe being miscommunicated? What are you making assumptions about? And giving you really a 2 to 3 step or next step plan, so that if you want to continue working on this on your own, you can. But it's something that might not seem urgent right now, but this is really important. And both Dorothy and Joey have given you 2 very recent examples of why this contingency planning is in place. So keep an eye out for that. I actually also have a 1-pager that I was literally just about to share in the heartbeat after this session. So it's really important that we get to know one another. It's really important that we understand how to refer one another. And for me specifically, it's really important that you guys understand the importance of contingency planning. So thank you for listening to my spiel today.
Hey, Jody, I love that idea. And they, because they can meet you first and want a little bit more, maybe be cost conscious, but just, want to take a little, or they might be cost conscious and trying to figure things out themselves, and you give them something to nibble on first that could lead to you. I think it works both ways. I think it's just a different way to get access to your services at different rates, right? Like,
That's right.
Because if you created this in advance, it's a one to many, right? So many people consume what you took one person to do, right? So anyhow, so I love it, and I think we all. I need to figure out a route like that. I say that to you, but I'm really kind of echoing, talking in the mirror, saying that I need to do it too. So I think that's great.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And I highly encourage that you literally just have a conversation with me so we can make sure that everything is good to go for you, your family, your business, etc. So thanks.
Excellent. And well timed with the rest of them. Anybody else want to go next, or I can go just to keep you guys busy? Is that okay? Good. I'll go. I'm watching eyeballs, right? I have to remember they're not looking direct. You're not looking directly at me. You're just looking at a screen, right? So mine, and I was thinking about what Jody was talking about and others. But I got a call, and this has happened a couple of times to me, where I got a call from a client that's from way back, that remembers me from way back, didn't have a need till just right now, and got back in touch with me. And I think about it, it's not these type of calls. Both of these led to good business arrangements, and both of them, it wasn't necessarily a skill-based thing. Yes, they're looking for me for skills, but it's a bit of, I want you because I like working with you, and I know you can do this. I don't want to return back to you. And it got me thinking, like, I have taken a bit of a hiatus to posting on LinkedIn because I'm trying to work on redoing my website. You guys remember I said, I've been using Google Sites as far as I could take it. I couldn't take it any further. I've really recognized for myself, content marketing, sharing knowledge, sharing what I do in pieces, it works better for me, right? Because people don't need my services all the time, but when they do, they want to know, they want to have had a relationship in some format with me to come back to. So I've taken some time to spend redoing my site and WordPress. And when you're trying to do that for yourself on the side, it takes a hell of a lot longer than you doing it for a client when you got dedicated time. So I'm trying to do it on the weekends. Wife's not here. Okay, head down. I got to get a bit of hours in between 2 projects and be trying. So it's just scattered. But I'm really fine that, and this is something I said to you, Jody. It's like they hire you, right? Like, yes, you got to have the skills. You have to have these special features and benefits, these pains that you're solving. But at the end of the day, they hire you, and that storytelling element and just knowing more about you and what you're like to work with, how you share this particular pain they're in, or I'll keep it private in case of Jody's or others, and even myself, right? People don't like to, acknowledge that maybe they don't know what they should know or something like that. So I'm finding that has been, I know it's been a longer term play for me in switching. I'm offline for a bit of time, but for me, I'm looking at the long term, just getting my story out there in a more controlled fashion. So that's what I've been up to, and probably will be up to next week. And if I don't get a lot of time this week, it's also meshing in the golf season as well, right? Which is like, I have a hard enough time just getting on the golf course, let alone trying to do all these other little things. So that's what I've been up to. What about you guys? I'm gonna pick maybe Miranda. How's things you've been doing? So Miranda's been doing a lot of sharing on storytelling, and for me, that put me to contacts with her. It's like, oh, wait a second, I didn't know. I knew what you did, but I didn't know you delivered it in the way you just said you delivered it. So that was a good opportunity for me to connect. So go ahead, Miranda.
Yeah, I am trying to work on LinkedIn as a priority as much as I can when I have enough time to do it. And LinkedIn is great. But in terms of what else I'm doing, I am doing a few things. So I'm working on my sales process for discovery calls. So I'm redoing my document with, what are all the questions I need to ask? How much time do I speak? How much time does the client speak? I'm trying to work on that. I'm also working on a speaker page because my partner and I have been working on this speaking presentation to give at different places on the power of authentic storytelling. So I have to work on now, okay, we've done the presentation, but what is the page that I then send or submit? Now you guys have added the one-page referral sheet to my list, so I will be doing that as well. Thank you. And then I've also spent a lot of time recently updating all of the exact wording that I have on Google My Business, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever else, just for the consistency for the search engines, because we were kind of like all over the place, and some of those things had been done years ago and some of them had been done more frequently. So I'm trying to get everything up to date. And then I also looked for some of all of those other like backlink sites that I can, like directory sites that I can register for. So I'm doing all of that. And then in terms of like what kind of work are we doing this summer? So we are doing a long format. I say long format, but it is a 15, maybe 20-minute documentary for YouTube, which is a little bit out of the norm of what we do. Not that we don't do documentaries. Yes, we've done many long format films. But this one is like a 15-minute for YouTube for an agriculture client. So they are a farm in Ontario, doing lots of very inventive things. And you can't really get enough information across in a 2-minute video. So, the options would be, do we do multiple 2-minute videos and just put it on social media? Or do we do a 15-minute and put it on YouTube? We'll probably do both in the end. But, talking to the client, they're in agriculture themselves, they're the ones telling us there is a lot of long-ish format content on YouTube that they look at, that they know gets millions of views. So we're going with long format. We'll see how it goes. It's a great project to work on anyway. And then we're doing some more traditional, like 3-minute stories with a 1-minute vertical cut for some not-for-profit organizations that want to do fundraising towards the end of the year. So they are planning their content and we're shooting it now. So one would be for like a therapy. It's a farm therapy. It's actually called care farming. It's a kind of a unique approach to doing therapy at a working farm. And then we're also doing one for a women's shelter that we've worked with for many years. So some is repeat clients, some is new clients. We're doing a lot of hospital updates this summer because it looks like all the hospitals are getting new emergency rooms or ambulance offload bays or whatever it is. So we're working with a lot of hospitals. Other than that, I am starting my Italy project that I do every year. And this year the campaign is going to be in the US. So I have to go to the US. I'm going to be missing the Mississauga meetup because I'll be in New York. So we have a press dinner. We have some culinary events and we have some influencer campaigns that we're kicking off in the US. And I'll either be in Italy in August of this year or next summer.
There's a lot. I had a few different thoughts in there, but and this is totally my own preference. I know you're in videography, right? But those long format stories, I will often listen while I'm doing other things. So do you present so that there's an audio aspect of it that goes with the video, so somebody can listen to it and then later watch it, or just completely listen and get the same sort of value?
Well, for this client, it's gonna be on YouTube. So you could listen to the YouTube and not look at it. But I don't think they want to go to like podcast necessarily, because then you need to do the podcast platforms. So for now, we're just leaving it as YouTube.
Interesting. Joy, in your line of work, would and this is maybe taking you back to historical times, would a company, does that give Miranda opportunity? Like how you think about media releases back in the magazine publishing days. You put a media release out, house the company, look for stories. They may even use that story, or it might lead into a larger story. That stuff still happen. Like if Miranda puts out a great 15-minute and it captures and it's digging into a story that's relevant to the economic environment, would that have any weight?
Absolutely. So it's Miranda, we're definitely going to do. So former CBC Discovery Channel, Daily Planet, industrial video. I've done second camera, audio, all of this, and as well industrial video for Inspire, which was the cricket food company in London. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your experience. But yes, your 15-minute could be an absolute extended kind of demo trailer for a broadcast hour, right? As you're probably well aware. And I'm glad that your agriculture client pushed back at this goldfish attention span that apparently we have. We all don't. We want to get a little bit more involved and get to know who these people are. So 12 to 15 minutes is great. So yeah, Richard, I mean, absolutely. So, from a media relations perspective and from a production perspective, yeah, that it can be a really useful tool. The client's already focused on it and financed it. Now it's literally shopping it to potential broadcasters. I could tell you Netflix Canada, Crave, and a couple of new streaming services coming up with CBC have made mandates to produce original Canadian content and investing hundreds of millions in that itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Richard, my other thought on like what you're saying with the audio. So what you can do with audio is, I mean, you could make podcasts out of long format audio, but what my clients find is useful is if we transcribe the audio, which, you just do it with a click now, right? It's AI. So we transcribe the audio. The interview that we did yesterday was an hour almost. So we're going to transcribe that, give it to the client, and then she has the whole interview in text, right? And she's going to use that to build her campaign story. So it'll go in her newsletter. There'll be stills and text. So, you just have to want and be willing to maximize the content. But we always give our clients like the full transcribed text, not necessarily the audio, because I know it's a pain for them to listen to it. So give them the transcript and they can use that to create lots of different content.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's a great. I never even thought about the transcript, because you could feed that into AI and come up with a lot of different starts to things, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. You just spit it out, but I love that. I love that idea.
And the nice thing is that it's in the words of the person who spoke it. So the AI, it kind of trains the AI already, because it has the way they speak, what they said, the way they do their sentences. So it's easy to now use that to make other content.
Yeah, and I think their conversation, because you sort of do it, I don't know if you're doing this one interview style. Like, I know I've seen you sit off camera. I think people present differently when they're interviewed, more relaxed and more conversational. It's easier to absorb. So she may, she may take that 50 and you'll probably chop it up for different ways. Other thing I was going to say to you, I watch longer format stuff of interest, special interest stuff. I will spend I think most people will dive into stuff that it's just an interest level. Like, yes, there's this TikTok age, but I think people are also like, there's podcasts that are in excess of an hour, and I'll listen to it while I'm cutting the lawn. And
exactly,
like stuff you just wouldn't get anywhere else, right? So
and what I was telling someone recently was, look, you don't want your thing to be viral. If you are a particular type of organization with a special kind of niche, like I have one client that is doing a rare lung cancer. So it's rare. There's only 10,000 people in Canada who have this thing. Not everyone wants to see this. Nobody, you won't care about this unless you care about it. And if you care about it, you don't want to get 30 seconds of this information, right? You want to get 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 15 minutes, because now if you have this, you are now invested in learning more about it. So, you don't want to think about it must be viral, because viral is like trying to spread it to everybody. Like, we're not Coca-Cola, right? So it's better to have enough content depth in your video that it actually will mean something to someone who is interested.
Would you mind? I feel like you and I had this conversation. I don't think we had it in the group. What you think of influencers with a huge channel versus ones with a smaller channel? Can you share that back? Because we had
so
comments
so
on
the
that.
thing with influencers, because I've been working with influencers for a few years, I have to say I really do not enjoy influencers, at least trying to find the right influencers. But if you choose a micro influencer, which would be 10,000 or less, they usually have better engagement than someone who has 100,000. If I find someone with 100,000 followers, I don't even approach them or use them. But the people with the smaller followings are usually doing a better job, and they have actual authentic followers. The people who have 100,000 followers, a lot of them are just bots or fakes or paid for followers. And the engagement rate will be higher with the smaller influencers, and the price that you pay the smaller influencers will be lower. So you get much more bang for your buck.
So there's something I've been thinking a lot of right now with whenever the world goes into mergers and acquisitions, and the amount of choices people have get limited, right? Their audiences, those companies become larger and their offerings become more generalized, right? And there's something like Clay, I'm going to skip the name. Clayton. Anyhow, the guy, the digital, and I'm going to kill myself. Right? Listen to this. He did the digital innovators dilemma. So Clay Thompson, man, I can't believe it. Can't believe it right on my mind. But the whole concept is, and they talk about it in a number of different industries, but the one I remember the most is the steel industry. As the steel industry, and we do this, if you ever worked for an agency, we're growing now. We're gonna fire a certain amount of clients in the lower end, right? And we're going up, and we're not going to look at those clients anymore. There's this concept of other companies that come from the bottom, eat and become they eat your garbage, the clients that you're no longer willing to talk to, do great service for them, maybe not the same quality that you do, but they service them, and then they grow in profits and then grow and eat that company up from the bottom, right? That's the concept of the innovator's dilemma. So what I want to say is that there is ripe opportunity in the market right now for, doesn't have to be a higher quality, but somebody doing exactly what I need for a price that I can afford, right? So like there's that listening to what people want, delivering what they need and nothing but what they need, so they can come across in an affordable manner. And there's lots of opportunities in there. And I equate it, and this is a weird this analogy, but like a whole bunch of little guys are beating the big guys. Think about Ukraine versus Russia right now, right? I know it's a weird analogy, but how's a little country like that, because they're using less expensive tools that will actually get the job done, that don't need the affordable. Same thing with Iran versus the US, right? It's the same thing with a lot of these companies right now. As everybody becomes more embracive of what's out there from an AI perspective, what's being left behind that is fair game to offer and gain, at least to get a foothold in a client that you would normally not have access to. So something I was thinking about in there. Sorry about that long. And it's Clay Hopkinson. I'm going to go look it up now. Now I'm embarrassed with myself. Somebody else, Christina, what's new in your world?
Hey, no, it was interesting. Sorry, I was like yawning. I'm a little bit tired, but I am very interested. So nice to meet you, Joey. I don't know if we've met before, but I've met everyone else. But yeah, my business, I do 75% of it Google Ads focused, about 15% AI search consulting, and then 10% search engine optimization. So resolving kind of errors and warnings on a site, but primarily the Google Ads and AI. So what's going on? So I don't know, personal level, boat. I think people know that I love going to the boat. I was at the driving range, so I do like my golf as well, and going golfing tomorrow, but I don't golf that often, so don't expect much. Richard and Miranda and whoever else joins. But yeah, so what am I doing? Working on, I guess, all my Google Ads clients campaigns and keyword research. I am following up like on, well, I'm working, AI search proposals are getting a big thing. Like, I guess that's a large thing I'm working on now. I have one client, or sorry, my cousin runs a CMO network. And so so essentially I'm sort of creating a couple of proposals, like just for a couple of clients right now, but having to invest a little, which I have to admit I struggle, because I have to, for any of the AI search proposals that I'm doing, I have to pay a couple $100 US to get the domain, and then there's all my time to do it. So there's sort of an investment required for me to put into it, but he has some like large clients. So a little bit to your point about, I know I'm good at what I do. I know I have access to the same tools as like a lot of the big agencies, and I know I'd be a lot less expensive because it's me doing it versus a large agency, and it's not someone junior that has their hands on the keyboard. It's someone with 25 years of marketing experience. But still, no matter what, as a small entrepreneur, you don't necessarily love having to shell out like a few $100s sort of on your own. But you kind of sometimes like saying it to myself, okay, let me do it the first time to see, okay, how much extra time does it take for me to put this together? And then if it's worth it, then yeah, we'll see where it lands. So, because obviously I know it's a great opportunity that he has strong relationships with all these sort of heads of marketing.
I feel that's a good investment.
That's big.
Yeah, and you keep track of those expenses and write them off too. But I feel like that's a good investment because it has lots of legs too. But there's a good example. Somebody wrote on LinkedIn the other day that marketers have a doing problem, and I can't remember who wrote it, so I can't attribute that to her. But it was the idea that if I work with somebody like us, a fractional, whatever, they don't actually do the work. So that they need to do that stuff. And I've been thinking about that for myself. I will pull on other experts, but at least I should probably be doing it, so I have a more firsthand knowledge of what I'd be asking somebody else to do. So I think that's great. I think that's a good perspective. What about you, Dorothy? What's going on? I owe you your walkathon, man. I've been snoozing that one along as I've had other priorities in my way, but I owe you to get back at that for sure.
Thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, well, it's that balance, trying to balance the charity and my own work and so on. So that's a lot. So, that's a big balance. And I'm asking for support, guys. It's our walk that's coming up on the 18th of July. It's a lot of fun. We have the technology that gives us the leaderboard energy, and it really puts the fun into fundraising. And we continue to save lives. But there are two lessons that is coming out for us. So now we have a dedicated resource to partnerships and grants. And we find that it takes, and we knew this, I know this intellectually, you know it.
Oh. Am I frozen or is Dorothy? Dorothy's frozen. Okay, phew, it's not me.
Okay. I'm just saying, we all know that it takes just as much time commitment to go for the bigger fish than the smaller fish. And that is crystal clear to us, that we're going for the bigger companies, we're getting the results, and it's just the same amount of energy, right? So just a reminder to all of us as we go for new clients, go for the bigger clients, because you're going to get better results. And it's not so hard talking to them. And the other lesson that's clear to me, I had a discovery call with a prospect recently. And again, it's around strategy before tools. So this prospect, it's a franchise owner, and she wants to scale. She's in the business trying to scale it herself, but she doesn't have the right tools. It's not the right tools to scale. And that's an important lesson to us, to recognize a lot of times what we think we're saving on the front end because we want something cheaper actually is more costly on the back end. And so now it's a question of, if you really do want to scale, you want the automated sequences, you want the SMS, you want this, you want to be able to run this business without you being the bottleneck, it means you need, to Christine's point, you've got to invest in the resources, because the ROI, it pays back for itself. And so if you really are truly wanting to grow a business, you got to put some skin in the game. It's not your $12 a month tool. So that is which is what we all know, but sometimes we're thinking about the dollars and in the on the front end, when truly it really is, what's the strategy that's required here? What's the tool that's going to enable me to grow? And so that is very clear. And, I'm sharing this with clients, something I always know and something I actually practice. So it's just, it's another, I would say, word to the wise. When you're thinking of scaling, think about the tools that will grow with you, not tools first and strategy later, but strategy first, tools second or third, actually. So that's why
I want to add on that, and I think having a long-term plan, just don't have too long a term. So what I mean by that is, if you look 5 years out where you think you're going to be, things get foggier. 10 years definitely foggier. It should have that. They call them a big hairy goal. It should have that something directing you. But when you're investing in tools, I like to have a shorter time span. Yes, not 6 months, but 2 years at the most. And the rationale around that is there's a lot of things that go on when you're adapting a new tool. There's a change management of yourself, learning how to use this tool, learning the values of what that tool delivers. And you don't want to be learning on all that thing on a Ferrari when what you need is the pickup truck, basically, right? So what I say is you need to be, and I say this to my old self, my first business I ran to, I needed an office, I needed this, I needed that, I mean, everything, right? I needed right off the start, because that's what a business was. But you need to, whatever you invest in, you need to return back, right? And if you have to think about that return and what was that return. And it can be a cost benefit analysis that you do it. It could be something that saves you time. It doesn't have to be just dollars and cents. But the reason why I say 2 years is because we will often buy a tool that is far too expensive, has far too many features, and you'll never consume all of them. And you'll end up being lost, and it's almost like you're having too much choice, right? So if you go for the tool that's 2 years ahead of you, you'll buy something that's a little bit more affordable. The payback period is shorter on that. The features will be less. It'll take you less time to learn. You're still going to grow and learn to that level. And then when you platform up to that tool that you would have bought first, you're in a more ready position to do it. Plus, you've saved yourself 2 years worth of investment in the other tool. So that's sort of my thought when I'm helping somebody make that type of decision. But 100%, Dorothy, don't shirt shift yourself. On tools like what the story. I think you're relating that back to Christina's story, right? So is that correct? And I'll let you rebuttal that, because that's my mindset. That's my bias. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing, right? So
you know what? I think that's pretty useful, because you have to test it and see the returns and see how it works for you, right? And that takes time. That's not a very short-term thing. So thanks for that expansion. But Miranda, regarding your client with the transcript, actually, that's a really key point. I actually have done so much on that, and tomorrow, I'm wrapping up a series with a group of women, and part of what I'm doing is the content that converts. I call it the content multiply. We're actually taking that transcript, and I actually have a slide. I've actually shared it on LinkedIn too, where I've showed where you can get 15 new, you can expand that one transcript. Like 1 hour, such rich gold mine to expand across so many other formats and platforms and distribution opportunities, that I think that's a really smart thing for all of us. So whether we're doing workshops or we're having these long form videos or anything that gives us an expansive time of content, we can actually multiply that content right now. And so we're never stuck for creating new content for whatever platform we need.
Yeah, and a new nugget can come out through that as well that you may have not expanded on, you didn't have time to during that interview, that you would want to circle. Yeah, that's a great point. Michael, I forgot, I didn't get back to you, other than the trip here. To be honest, what's new in your world? Sorry.
I just spent lots of time on camping. So for the benefit of the 3 new people to me, Dorothy, Joy, and Jody, I am starting a business to help people with their exit planning. So, Jody, I'm very interested to talk to you more. I follow you on LinkedIn, so I've been enjoying what your content coming out of there. But basically, the pre-exit readiness, so upstream of a transaction, getting the business readiness, the personal readiness, and looking at the financial realities of what the enterprise value is in relation to the retirement goals. So I'm just at the start of that. It's been a couple months. I've been spending way too much time wearing my marketing hat, getting the website set up and some of the content. I think it was Miranda that you mentioned your call script. So I'm very old school in my business development approach. I've signed on to Apollo to have a very targeted approach to my business development, and actually pick up the phone and try and engage owners directly, as opposed to a broad-based long marketing approach. Like a buckshot as opposed to a sniper approach. That's what I'm planning to do. Whether it works, you can find out the drama unfolding on future calls. With respect to work coming up, it's interesting. I'm dealing with two clients at the other end of the spectrum. One of them's a relatively new business, and the owner knows that they're probably going to be looking at different options in 5 to 6 years. So what can they incorporate today at the outset of the business to have them in a better position for a transferable enterprise value when they want to sell, or have that as an option for them to do other things as the business starts to take off. So that's pretty cool. That's very interesting. And another one that is a minority shareholder of a chain of medical clinics. We were trying to do a valuation on his minority share of the holding company that then has a position in a variety of a number of these clinics. And unfortunately, when he started asking for information from his majority partner, it resulted in a termination and some litigation. So there's probably some not nice things happening. So we'll see where that goes. But it went from a fun project to a fairly acrimonious one. So here we are.
That's exciting. I like your sales approach. I'll have to share that. I've had a couple of people call me, cold call. I do pick up the phone. You've heard from other situations where I wasn't picking up the phone. It was a client calling me that had tried me times. So now I do pick up the phone, and we'll have to share a strategy. How do you pick up the phone, just in case it's like somebody trying to spam you or something like that. But I picked up and heard a couple of good cold calls, and you're like, wow, I'm glad you called me. That's a good business idea. Even if I don't buy it, I think you got me on your radar when I would have not. I just think cold calling has been muddied because of all the spammers and stuff like that. I think it's a really good craft, a really good way of testing out messaging, and really good way, especially if you do it targeted, to somebody that should be using your business. And it's ballsy too. I remember to throw that in the book. Sandler puts the first book that the gentleman who started Sandler's sales training is You Can't Train How to Ride a Bike, and I'm totally bastardizing his title. You can't learn how to ride a bike through a webinar, or seminar, whatever way you want it. It was way back in the days. And the fact that you actually have to do the activity to do it. And there's something about cold calling. You get a fresh person in front of you every single time. So you get to try a script out, tweak it, try it, and you get immediate feedback on your positioning, whether it was understood or not, whether you got the right target audience or not. And he used to talk about buckets of sweat coming off of him when he's doing it himself for his first few times. So it is a natural thing to be afraid to do it, but it's a completely natural thing and a natural way to grow your business, but not for everybody apparently. But good for you for trying. I want to hear more about how that goes. Actually,
I'll be rolling out over the summer and towards the end of the summer. So I'll let you know how it goes. The majority of my referrals are going to come through the advisor community. So I've been doing a lot of networking with them, with the accountants, the lawyers, the wealth managers. But this is, Jody, you can probably give me some pointers. But this is a long pipeline, right? In order to sell trust. You don't just show up and hope for the best. It's something that's got to be cultivated over a long period of time.
What do you think? What do you think, Jody, when Michael said that he follows you on LinkedIn? What was your first thought there?
I have been in the stalker industry for a long time. People will follow me for a long time before we meet, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I know you. I follow you," and they'll be able to like tell me things, and I'm like, I'm just used to it now. So thank you, perfect, Joey. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm like, I know Joey somewhere, and I'm like, it's on LinkedIn. So I return the stalker attitude as well. But no, Michael, I think this is a phenomenally important service that you're offering. I'm so excited that I was able to connect with you today. And I definitely think that you and I need to connect afterwards. But the relationship building is going to be crucial, and it's long term. Like, this is the long game, because it's such an important thing that you're on day one, you're asking people for such critical details, right? So, you know, we were talking at the beginning of the year about a trust recession, and you and I were right in, well, all of us actually are in like very trust enabling industries. So meeting people need to know you beyond the screen. They need to know you beyond your website. So I think that you're doing all the right things, but yeah, you even have to follow up. About my tip is follow up with even your professionals every 3 months, because I'll be like, oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. And people have different
Somebody I know recommends following up a lot. So
yeah. So so this is just to flip to my business coaching for a second. One of the best things that I'm known for is helping people create follow-up systems. So Miranda was talking about like her, you know, setting up a new sales process for cold calling. People suck at sales. No offense. Some of you are probably phenomenal, but people genuinely do it because we're in our heads. So a lot of the clients I work with, we set up prospecting calls, processes, cold calls, warm calls, how to follow up, accountability calls. Oh, like, I don't want to seem too eager. I'm like, they probably forgot about you. Don't worry about it. So we create these processes, but they're not necessarily easy, but they're simple. And then you do them on repeat. But that's basically a lot of my core coaching nowadays is like, you've spent so much time building this network. Why are you not following up with your network? Why are you not following up with these and having conversations about that messaging? So Michael, you and I can talk about that. If anybody else wants to talk about that as well, that's my jam for business coaching. That's my area of expertise. So yeah, thanks.
And post your lessons, post your stuff that you talked about earlier, post it on the app, so we can keep following on that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is a great call. It started with a canoe trip and an injury in trips, but we got somewhere eventually. That's great. Thanks so much for sharing, guys. We appreciate it. And for those that are on vacation, I know it's vacation time. So those that can't make it to Toronto, totally understand, or Mississauga. New York is way better than Mississauga, Miranda. Total great excuse for not coming. Appreciate that. For those that are going to be there, I look forward to seeing you guys in person. And Joy, it'll be your first time in real life, so it'll be good. Excellent.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.